All right, it's showtime, my friends. Welcome to the RCSparks studio. As always, I am your host, DJ Medic, and I can say that today's video is going to be rather dry. Only because it has to do with painting. Pun totally intended. My friends, I can say that recently and over the last 2 years, one of the most requested videos I had was how to paint your RC controller. This is a Spektrum based controller. This is not sponsored or anything by Spektrum. It just happens to be the controller that I was using. This is why I have a few other controllers on this side, okay? Here's the Losi Micro Crawler radio. This is a old Fly Sky radio. Hey, well, that's what it eventually turned out to be. I'm not sure the brand. Exceed RC, that's the one. So the reason why I'm showing these other RTR ones, or ready to run radios, this is the HPI Drifter, is that basically the methods I'm about to show you can be applied to any radio controller. Now, we've got these laid out here. My friends, I'm actually going to be using this one. This is the Spektrum DX3R Pro. You can see nice and close up here. Hallelujah. You must be questioning, why is the wheel on the wrong side? A lot of you are actually right-handed, and my wife is actually left-handed. Huh? So Spektrum gives you the ability to switch the wheel around to the front. They give you hardware and stuff that you're able to maneuver and move everything to the other side, which makes it easier for somebody who needs to drive on the other side. Okay? You can always take your old tired controller, whatever you have, you know, and there's a lot of screws in the back and things, and basically it's buttons, a spring, a couple of springs maybe, and some microchips with a battery plate. Same idea in all of these different ones here. We're going to be able to mask off certain areas, take it apart today, and paint it up, put it all back together, of course in a time lapse for you guys, and get this done. So we might as well start rolling. The tutorial starts now. Okay, so I've already moved ahead and done a few things here because it would make the video a lot shorter, but still easy to understand. This Spektrum based unit that I'm using here, I've already taken the rubber grip off like I showed with the pink one, okay? So this has been removed. I went in and this steering wheel actually had a small cap on it. So with this cap, I used the hook. I just hooked into it, used my Phillips screwdriver, undid the actual screw and removed it. So you can see just like that, okay? No springs, nothing to be afraid of in this one. Sometimes you might have a spring or something. Just make sure when you're removing it, getting it ready to paint, that you're either taking pictures or you have a good memory on how that screw works. That's totally what she said. Okay, I've also used a very thin, this is a very cheap duct tape. It's not even the real deal. You can rip it with your fingers, super easy. The reason I've even done this is because low cost is what this mod is about, okay? Everybody can have money and we can all buy expensive stuff, but sometimes you know what it's like. A new paint job can make your RC experience even more better. So I've gone ahead and I've covered up with masking tape. Everybody's got cheap tape laying around. You don't want to make your masking tape too cheap. You want to make sure that it rips off in single pieces nice and easy and doesn't fragment. I've laid it over the DX3R logo. I'm going to go ahead and do that all over. But keep in mind, on some of these radios, they already have a protective film. Okay? Hallelujah. There you go. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and cover that up. And I just wanted to show you that the film is there in case you did want to paint right over it. You could just peel it off later. But I noticed that when you actually do a nice overlay like this, and then you go cut it out, you have still a really nice sharp edge of paint. There we go. There we go. Beautiful. Nice straight lines. I'll keep doing this until I have them all done. So it occurred to me while I was finishing wrapping up everything that needed to be done that this piece also needed to be masked, and I was just going to go ahead and do it, but then I thought I might as well show you guys. Check this out. This is the old sandwich method. A lot of people would try and get in here and curve everything, but notice how I laid 2 pieces of tape across just flat. Well, if you go ahead and go in and just sandwich that together, just kind of make like a little dumpling. Yeah? like a little tape bag there. You don't have to worry about getting in. You just fold it over, everything's done. This the good thing about this fairly inexpensive tape is you can just rip it off later. Piece of cake. So the wires have been done. You know, you could do this much better. This, like I said already, this isn't the only way. There's like a billion ways to do this, but this is one way, right? So there we go. Everything's looking good and taped up. I think we might as well start getting into the painting. You know, now, do I want to scuff that up? Enter the green sponge. What? Medic, you're crazy. Well, I don't want to use sandpaper on something like this. It is a fairly light plastic, and yeah, it is very smooth. The paint will stick to it, or you can use a primer, like a base coat for plastics. I have tons of that stuff as well. A lot of us don't have primer at home. A lot of us have these old kitchen sink scrub brushes, but it has to be new and unused. You can get in there and scuff. Good enough. Now, I got one side of the cloth, kind of damp. Look at it, it rubbed the paint right off the top. People call me crazy when I say you can actually sand your controller with a kitchen sink scrub brush or a little tiny abrasion brush. But there's some proof for you right there. It really does work. Now, I still have to cut out the little button that's there for the power cord. No problem. Wipe this off. I'm going to clean up the area. We'll be able to start painting. Okay, so time to, well, I'm going to say this. Gloves, hey, multi-purpose latex. I'm not breaking into people's homes, but I am having a little bit of an RC surgery here. I want to protect myself, and I'm in a well-ventilated area. We've got lots of airflow through the studio here. Okay, so hands are protected from the toxic paint, which isn't too bad actually, as long as you're being careful, right? Just trying to set a good precedent. Okay, shake up your old paint. Ba 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 boom. Everything's good. There is a secret about spray painting. All the taggers will know this. All the spray painters of the world will know this. You actually want to do very light coats. If you do a heavy coat, unfortunately, what will happen is you will start to have runs. No one likes the runs, right? I'm going to test the paint, make sure it's good to go. It is. Here we go. Isn't that a pretty color? Nice and light. Nothing too crazy. Everybody has different painting techniques. I keep that in mind, of course. Paint the way you like. Nothing too mad here. I don't want any drips or running. One thing about painting RC controllers is you have to remember there's many angles, many sides to it. And while you're doing this, not to oversaturate that paint as you do the overlay. All the painters of the world right now, the real ones, are probably trying to shank me through the screen. Everyone's techniques are different, right? Ta-da! My wife's old hairdryer, not a heat gun, but something that does get very hot. You want to be careful when working with plastics not to actually put it on too high of a setting for heat, right? So here we go. I'm going to put it onto the high setting, but I'm going to keep it on warm. I just want airflow. Remember, paint fumes are flammable, so you want to make sure to have good airflow. Kind of like watching paint dry, I know. Several coats later, I've been doing this for about half an hour on and off with a 5-minute drying time. All right, so off camera, we have dried this for about, I'd say about 30-40 minutes. It still has to cure a little bit, but we're definitely on to the area where we can start peeling things back. Now, keep in mind, if you're not careful, you can scratch this. If you want, you can put a hardener on this. You can put some sort of clear coat on this. We're not going to bother because I can always touch up a paint job at any point in time. But one of the things we can start to do, which is always exciting, is to start peeling back. But before you do, one of the things you want to remember is that paint will actually make a little bit of a skin. So out of all the little masks that you just did all over, you have to make sure to go in and follow that straight line with the razor again. Careful not to cut your fingers. I know most people know that. Okay, so we can go in. Once we do this, everything is scored. That little skin on the paint, if you don't have it perfectly cut, will actually pull away some of the paint you just put on there. Look how awesome this peels off now. Number one. I can go in with a little tiny razor blade and kind of touch up anything that did bleed through. Not a big deal at all. Let's see, this one we can do for you. This one was fairly cut. Here we go, that nice plastic protector peeling off with the masking tape. Perfect, okay. Now this one up at the top, I'll just do this quickly so you guys can see. Nice and careful. And same down the side. Yeah, this is an excellent area to do this cutting of the mask. There we go. Off it comes, nice and careful. Make sure not to pull the screen off. Here we go. You can even see the paint start to peel away from the actual drywall or the duct tape. Look at that. There we go, looking nice. Want to make sure to be very careful. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start undoing this and we'll move on to the next stage. Okay, so I've jumped ahead a bit. I've taken all the masking off and you're getting your first look. I've put some of the pieces back together at the DX3R that I painted for JEM. Now I just have to reassemble this top part. Now all the masking is off. You may ask yourself, is it perfect? The answer is absolutely not. I can say that there are several ways to do a project like this, and I encourage people, if they actually do paint their RC controllers, paste a video response down below. Let's actually see how you guys did it, if you actually went ahead and used airbrushing or if you did use liquid mask. There's lots of tutorials from Hemistorm RC, for example, not on painting radio controllers, but actual bods. You know, plenty of painting tutorials actually on RCSparks.com in the forums. My friends, look at this. All done. I know JEM is going to be thrilled. Check that out. The grip is on. I wanted to do it kind of like a Neapolitan ice cream for her this year. Hey, something cute, something cool. I know all the dads and everybody out there, now you're going to have to paint your kids' controllers for them. And I know that so far Spektrum and other companies don't offer multicolors. I think that's a mistake. Hopefully things like this will become popular and you know, everybody can have an option to have their own cool RC right from the store. But until then, there is a painting tutorial for you. Really simple, really inexpensive. If you like what you see, you're welcome to go ahead and subscribe or you know, get in on the forums at RCSparks.com. There's lots of cool stuff like this. Really simple, easy to do at your home. Guys, I'll see you on the next RC Adventures. Thanks for watching today.